Well, hello there. Welcome to my weekly energy reading for this week, beginning the 19th of July, 2021. Wow, how intense is life right now on this planet? I've got lots to share with you today. I've got lots of notes as well. So forgive me for keeping looking at my notes all the time, but I don't want to miss anything because I think it's kind of really juicy. So clearly, we have a very, very intense time on this planet. Oh, if you don't know who I am, my name's Karen Turpin, by the way, from karenturpin.com. Now, okay, here we are with the most intense time on the planet that I've ever known, certainly in my life history. Obviously, I haven't lived through any world wars and I haven't been in a war-torn country. So some people might argue about the intensity of it. But, you know, we are looking around at riots worldwide now because of what's going on. And you know, it's clear that there's a huge movement happening on the planet. So we've known that this is a time of awakening. I've been on a spiritual path for 25 years and we've been waiting for people to wake up. And I think you'll agree with me, but that in the last year and a half, we have seen a mass awakening in people that you would never have expected to kind of wake up and begin to, well, literally see what's happening all around them. So that's a kind of good thing. And I know that things are intense with the riots and everything, but in a little while, I'm going to explain to you why that's actually a good thing. So let's have a look at where we are on the planet. And we know that in order to build anew, we have to break down the old. What we're actually witnessing is that breaking down of the old. People are standing up, they're angry, they're being suppressed. People don't like to be suppressed. Sometimes they go along with it, but only for a period of time. And in this time on the planet, because we're meant to wake up and because it's kind of been prophesized and you know, for 26,500 years, we've been moving towards this cycle of awakening that helps us to move into the new age, the new era, the new age of light, the age of Aquarius, as they say. So we've been moving towards this point for many, many, many years, eons of time, actually. And what an amazing privilege, a great privilege to be on the planet right now as this is happening. I just want to say thank you for being here. Certainly, if you're listening to me, we're probably on the same wavelength to some degree, but or else you wouldn't be listening. You'd have clicked off by now. But the point is, thank you for being here, because I actually believe that many of us, certainly if we're into this type of information and material, we are the warriors, we are the light bearers, and there's a reason that we chose to come here right now, because we can hold light. And also there's a reason why you're connecting with me. And of course, I'd love to hear from you so that I can connect with you. So make sure you connect with me, DM me, follow me on Instagram, etc. Karen Turpin, spiritual coach in most places. So let me look at my notes. Let me just say, as I mentioned, we are breaking down old structures. We are building anew. And in order to do that, we need to build from the ground up. So it feels really wobbly on the planet right now because literally our foundations, our structure, everything we've ever known really is being shaken to the core. You know, we're seeing everything toppling down around us. Certainly our freedoms, you know, are toppling down, and our right to work and things like this. But God, even our right to breathe fresh, clean air is being, you know, taken or severely suppressed from many of us. So we're looking at everything we've ever known breaking down around us, and the very foundations upon which we've built the system and what we see in our current reality, we are seeing that it's all been false. It's built on deception and lies and control. So we're looking at government, all levels of that, politics. We're looking at pharmaceutical, the medical system. We're looking at the legal system, how it covers up things. And we're looking at just basically every level of society that's been put in place. And now we're finding how it's also interwoven, banking system, financial system, all of that interwoven into keeping control and governance over we, the people. Clearly, as we move into new era of light, we can't have such heavy darkness controlling our every move. So we are literally in a battle of light and dark. So there is astrology that bears out this movement of where we are on the planet right now. Can't tell you the names of the planets because honestly, I kind of don't retain that information. I get an overall feeling of energies moving, but I haven't studied astrology. I can't tell you that. But what I can tell you is that there are certain planetary alignments that are really firing people up at the moment. This is why we see such intense rage and anger, this very, very active energy. And actually that active energy, even if it displays itself in riots and protests, personally, I think that that is a good thing because people are standing up, people are standing for truth, and that is necessary. And it's preferential over the opposite, which is everybody sitting down quietly, doing as they're told, and that whole feeling of helpless and hopeless. That's not a good place to be, helpless and hopeless. So when you look at the energy in David Hawkins' scale of consciousness, he talks about that shame state of being helpless and hopeless, very, very low on the vibrational scale of consciousness at level 20. And then we look at anger, which is what we're seeing all around the world with so many riots and like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people coming out to defend their right to be free. You know, we're looking at immense anger on the planet, but anger on the vibrational scale of consciousness is 150. That is amazing. You know, we often think of anger as a low vibration, but it's actually not. It's, well, in comparison, right? In comparison to helpless and hopeless, which is 20, 150 on the scale, that's a very, very active energy. People are moving, you know, they're kind of taken that energy and they're using it constructively. In this case, it is constructive because people are fighting for their right. Now, courage. It takes courage to go to those riots when you know that there's going to be police and God knows what going on out there, especially for those of us that are locked down and told that we can't leave our homes for further than 5 or 10 kilometers away, etc. It takes tremendous courage to actually stand up and go to a riot and protest. The level of courage on the scale of consciousness is 200. And it's also the level at which we begin to step into our empowerment. So it's the onset of empowerment at 200 on the scale. So when you look at these protesters, the rioters standing up for our rights of freedom, they are on the verge of empowerment. So we collectively, as a human race, if we all, you know, align to this, we are all on the verge, on the step of taking our own empowerment, sovereignty, freedom, liberation. That's what those riots are demanding. So that level of courage at 200, that when we step into, it's the onset of empowerment for humanity. And I'll talk about the people that are not into that in a moment. The level of willingness, and this is the willingness to stand up and be counted, to stand in your truth, to literally be a truth speaker, a warrior, a holder of the light, a truth bearer. The willingness to do that is 310 on the scale of consciousness. So we can see how we're moving up into these higher and higher levels of vibration. So let me see what I haven't talked about yet. So yeah, we're moving into a new earth. The light is pouring onto the earth day by day with all of these plasma bursts coming in. The Schumann resonance has been off the charts recently. Lots of people have been having headaches. That feeling of anxiety, that feeling inside where you're so wired and all of this, yes, it's fight and flight, perhaps. It's anxiety. People are losing their jobs and homes, livelihoods, and if you've got rioting down the street from you, it's scary. There's a fight and flight aspect to that too. But remember, when these high vibrations come onto the planet, it's running through our nervous system, through the central nervous system. And it's kind of literally like, almost, please don't do this, don't do this. But it's like sticking your fingers in the main socket and having a high voltage run through your body, because we are electromagnetic bodies. And so as these higher frequencies come on the planet, it's charging through our central nervous system, pulling out any of the old junk, emotional crap that's low vibration, so that we can incrementally upgrade and hold higher and higher vibrations of light in our body. So the light is coming onto the planet, it's charging through our body, it's charging through everybody on the planet. You don't even have to be interested in spiritual stuff. If you're here, you're getting that energy coming in. It's trying to wake you up. You probably are awake if you're listening, but other people are not, and it's trying to wake them up. It's almost like a defibrillator, right? Trying to boost their heart and get them to align to the vibration of love. Because I can assure you, not everyone is aligned to the vibration of love here on this planet in the way that they're behaving. So light is pouring onto the planet. It's uncovering the darkness. It's uncovering all the dark stuff that they've been doing. Where we are right now, in terms of trying to get a load of toxins into your body and break down the body and break down the family unit and break down your ability to earn an income, and on and on and on. I could go with that. But that agenda has been planned for years. It's been years in the making. And so now only, well, many of us have been onto it for a while, but as the light pours more and more onto the planet, it's literally like shining a light into the darkness, because it's been a dark planet. And so as more and more light pours in, people are seeing more. People that weren't awake and aware before are suddenly going, what the fuck? I can see what's happening all around me here. This isn't right. This can't happen. So people are seeing through the darkness with the light that is coming onto the planet, and with people like you and I actually talking about it, sharing the truth, being courageous, being willing to stand out and share this message, which is so important for everybody right now. So with this light coming onto the planet, light is truth. And that's why we're seeing so much. We're seeing so much truth. Well, we're seeing the untruth. We're seeing through the lies. When you look at, these government reports that come out, honestly, they don't know if they're Arthur or Martha, because one minute they're saying this and then they're saying that. It's so confusing, and that's by design, because it helps their agenda, but it begins to break down the psyche of us. When we listen to it, we're so confused. We don't know what we're meant to do. We don't know what we're meant to think. That is deliberate psychological warfare. It's psychology to break down your mental faculties and your ability to be a critical thinker. So that's what that's about. That's why it's so confusing by design. So as the light is coming on, that's why we can see it. We can see so much. And the thing is that you can't unsee what you've already seen. It's a bit like a nightmare. When you watch a horror movie and you can't get it out of your mind, or when you walk in on somebody doing something like weird, you can't get that out of your head, can you? Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. And look around the planet, look in your local doctor's office, and look at, the banking system, look at what all of that stuff. When you see it, you can't unsee it. There's no going back to sleep when you're awake. You're awake now. And, the invitation is to be a speaker of the truth, a light bearer. So the thing is, the dark and those kind of, gremlins that we see on TV every evening, giving the latest stats, true or false, those gremlins, they're like the dark. Okay, they don't like to be seen. They don't like to be called out. Now, if you've ever watched an animal die, you will know, or a person, you will know that just before death, they kind of go through the death throes, and the nervous system is kind of sparky and jumpy very often, and they shake. And I personally think that this is what we're witnessing with government at the moment, because they are so desperate to get their toxic chemical shit into your body, and they are pulling out all the stops. They either want to get it in your arm, they want to shove stuff up your nose. That is their toxic chemical mixture. It's death, basically. It's death in a freaking syringe, and so they are desperate to get that stuff into you. And the way that they're behaving right now, pulling out all the stops to really try and hold us at bay, is their death throes. They know they're losing. They are already lost. It's just that it hasn't fully landed here yet. But they're trying to hold back this wave of light that is coming at them, and they don't even know what to do with it. Imagine a rat trapped in a corner, and that's what we're seeing. Governments all around the world. Now, we know that the light is here coming. It's not fully landed here. And we've known for a long while that this new era of light is inevitable, but it takes time to get here. And the point is, right now, it seems like we haven't got time. And that's because the government is in its death throes, and it's, the thumb screws are getting tighter. Okay. But we do have a choice. We have a choice which energy we want to play with. Do we want to play in the light, or do we want to play with the dark? And the thing is that the choices that we make now are hugely impactful, both in terms of planetary freedom, the freedom of your children, grandchildren, and yourself, versus staying locked into that old decaying system, which, well, death follows decay, right? So that's what's happening with that. Now, your willingness to be governed and suppressed and to turn a blind eye, that was set in motion many, many years ago. And what it meant is that we didn't look out for each other. We didn't care for each other. We didn't love each other. If something was happening bad on the planet, it's okay, it's over there. I don't need to bother with that. I can, go back and watch my sport, which funnily enough is all they're giving us at the moment to amuse us, and some of their stupid TV shows, of course, but that they fly in celebrities for. Yeah, get that one. Okay, so let's amuse the masses with this shit on TV, and let's just bring in this shitty agenda. And it's people not being willing to stand up and, speak truth and put a stop to things that were wrong. That's what's got us here. If we saw something, major human rights violations happening somewhere on the planet, let's be honest, how many of us stood up and said it's wrong, let's do something to stop this, let's help these people? We didn't. I'm guilty of it too. And so now we've got ourselves in this situation where they have expanded their energy so much that they are governing and ruling the whole planet and doing whatever the frick they want. So we have to stand up. We can't ignore this anymore. We're going down if we don't do something. So we can say, yes, the light is already here. But if you want to be part of that light, you have to stand up now. So I know that astrologically there's some movements that are going to happen, that it's going to, be to our benefit. But this is also kind of between you and God, right? And in the reckoning day, you have to know that in your heart, you made choices that helped others, that were for the light, on the side of the light. So none of this bitching and snitching and dobbing people in. I don't think the light likes that, let's be honest. So are you with the light or are you against it? Basically, are you a bitch and a snitch and a dobber, or are you going to stand in the light and say, no, I can stand up and be counted? And so where's your vibrationary level? Do you have the courage to stand for truth? Do you have the willingness to put yourself out there and stand in the light of truth? Because we are the creators. We're building a new reality here. So the old one has to break down. It has to break down. And we're in this process of tearing down the walls, if you like. Now, if I'm being censored, I am not inciting violence, okay? That's just a disclaimer, and it was just a phrase of speaking when I said tearing the walls down. But the point is that we must see a breakdown of the system. We must see a coming together in love and support of our communities, of each other, of our fellow human, regardless of color and all of that stuff. We just need to love each other. We're humans, just love each other. And so the tide is changing, but we're in choppy waters at the moment. When the tide, flows in and then it begins to turn before it goes out again, the water gets choppy, and that's where we are at the moment. So hold your head above the water. Don't sink underneath it. If you're going down, reach out and get some help. I know mental health is it's a huge issue right now because people are very, very stressed. So please don't be alone. Reach out and get help if you need that. And be conscious in your choices. Be high in your frequency. Hold peace and joy and love in your heart. And I know that that's difficult to do when everything around you is going to shit, but do the things that bring you joy. If that's sitting down and playing with your kids and not doing your housework, do that. If that's going out for a walk in nature, get some sunlight on your face. If it's playing with puppies, if it's playing with kittens, playing a bit of music, whatever it is that brings you a little bit of joy, try to bring that more and more into your life so that you can hold your vibration higher. Don't fall into helpless and hopeless, because we don't need to go there. And if a lot of people fall into that helpless and hopeless, we're really lowering our collective vibration. And, I have full trust, faith that we can shift this up, and I'd love you to be part of it with us. So spend your time focused on what you want to happen and what you want to see. Don't focus all your energy on the bad stuff, and God knows there's enough of it around on TV and social media. So get off of social media. I'm listening to this for myself too, believe me. Get off social media and all the dark stuff, and do things that bring you joy and peace, that bring peace to your heart. I have a free calming meditation, which I'll put a link somewhere or other in the comments. If you're watching this on Instagram, you can get it in my bio link. Just listen to that. Just do the things that bring peace and calm into your heart. Don't focus on what you don't want to happen, because you're an amazing, powerful creator. And where you place your awareness and consciousness, you're growing and amplifying the energy there. So don't focus on the dark stuff, focus on the light. As I said, these riots are not necessarily dark. In fact, they're not dark at all. These are your fellow humans standing up in truth and fighting for their right to live freely. And that is hugely courageous. And that, to me, is a high vibe. Yes, I admit it's scary. It looks scary. But, you know, we have to shift this. And as I've mentioned earlier on, the energy of anger, courage, willingness is so superior to feeling helpless and hopeless, which I know many people are. So it's been a long one today. I hope you found some value in it. Please connect with me, DM me, put comments, look me up in all the usual places, Karen Turpin, Spiritual Coach, and let's come together in unity, in community, for humanity. Let's bring more and more love onto this planet because it's coming in. You can choose whether you align to the love and the light that is coming through here, or whether you choose to stay in fear. I hope you choose to stand in the light of truth because it always wins. So thank you for listening today, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.